Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Checking In. I'm Leon Thomas with Miranda Kittle and Lynch. Hey, Miranda, how's everything?
Hey, Leon, it's great. How's it going with you? Tell me something
All
good.
all is groovy. My cold that I thought was a cold is gone.
Yay.
That's because it wasn't a cold.
Oh.
It was allergies.
Ah.
Yeah, and I'd never heard of fall allergies before.
Yeah.
The doctor was very nice to me. He said, "Yeah, your cold didn't go away because you didn't have a cold. You have
Mm.
allergies." And I said, "Never heard of it." He says, "Sit down, let me explain."
Yeah.
Yeah, so then for 10 minutes, I got an explanation of what fall allergies are. So it's pretty cool.
There you go. Well, the
Yeah.
part of the world that I live in, there's allergies all year round. So
Ah, okay.
we
Now,
know the struggle.
now we know. Now we know. Right on. Now, folks, if you want to be a guest on our show, if you'd like to be a guest on Checking In, you can contact me. Send me an email. That's Leon at theleonthomasgroup.com. Or you can contact Miranda. How do they
Just
do that?
type my name into your favorite search engine, not because I'm important, but because it is very unique. You will find me.
All right, we'll do that. And something else great to report: the Leon Thomas Group. We broadcast our first wedding back in mid-October.
How
Did our
fun!
first wedding. So we did an hour and 10-minute pre-show, the wedding, and the reception. So
Amazing.
we had four of our students working at Friendly Farm, a unique restaurant in Upper Co, Maryland, north of Baltimore, and our editors got a chance to really put some things together, and the family just loves it. Yeah, so I'll
Very
send you some of
cool.
it. I'll send it to our guests too, so y'all can take a look at it. So then, in case you know anyone that's getting married or having another event, the Leon Thomas Group can help.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
there's our website right there, the Leon Thomas Group. Miranda, this is episode number
141.
sounds good. Let's go. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. We'll have to take an official count at some point, but
And
I
I
think,
know every show that you're going to ask me, and yet I fail to prepare every single time.
well, you and I never know the true answer either. So we're just throwing numbers out there, but that 140 something does sounds accurate. And our guest today was on episode number
I feel like it
40
was pretty
something,
early
50.
when when
Yeah,
we first started.
I thought so. So let's bring him on again. Hello, Calvin Stovall. Good
Hello,
greetings to you.
hello. How you
Greetings.
doing, Leon? Miranda, what's going on?
We are so excited to have you back. It's definitely overdue, but I think we're asking you to come back, and you're joining us at the right time because you have such cool stuff to share today.
Yes, I do. I have something that has been taking a long time to complete, but it is now here. It is now here.
Yay!
All
Yes.
right.
Amazing. Before we jump in, for anybody who missed your first appearance on the show, do you want to just give us a quick intro, a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Oh, okay. Love it. Again, my name is Calvin Stovall. I am, I guess I like to tell people, a hospitality guy through and through. I've actually been in the hotel industry for a long time, probably as much as 30 years or so, somewhere, probably a little more than that. But I don't want to age myself too much. But I started as a desk clerk in Chicago at a Holiday Inn, and did some other, hotels around the Chicago area, and which is where I'm from, of course. And went to undergrad at Chicago State University on the south side of Chi, and then was blessed to get into Cornell University School of Hotel Administration, which is now the Nolan School, and went to the graduate school there. And then after that, my hospitality career kind of really took off. I ended up in a President's Associate program, which was then Promise Hotels, which is now Hilton, and worked at the property in Memphis, Tennessee, a couple of years as an AGM, and then transitioned into corporate into the research department, consumer research department, a couple of years. Then went into brand marketing. Eventually became the vice president of marketing for Homewood Suites by Hilton brand. I started with them real early when they only had about 35, 40 hotels. So that was just a great experience. I do also have some nonprofit experience. I worked at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital a couple of years for their fundraising arm, which is ALSAC, in their brand strategy department. And another one of my most fun jobs I had was when I was the CEO of the Soulsville Foundation based in Memphis, and which was built out of the famous Stax Records label, which was really popular during the 60s and 70s. Of course, it's not there anymore, but they do have a Stax Museum of American Soul Music, a charter school on their campus, as well as a after-school music program for youth. And then, let me see what after that. See, I could go on. I started my own company. I've been in business probably about 7 years or so, called Iconic Presentations. Yes. And I specialize in delivering dynamic keynote presentations for organizations, particularly in the hotel industry, but also healthcare, as well as real estate management companies. And I also serve as the director of executive programs for the Advanced Leadership Institute, which is based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So got a lot on my plate, and now a wonderful author of a beautiful Black history / hospitality book called Hidden Hospitality. So that's it in a nutshell.
Amazing.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Leon, did you want to jump in?
No, go ahead. You go ahead, and Calvin and I are gonna talk a little bit of sports, a little bit of Pittsburgh, and all. So you go ahead, Miranda.
Oh boy, that's right up my alley, brother.
So if you could tell us a little bit about your book, if you want to repeat the name so that everybody can catch it and grab a copy. I know I have mine ordered. Just tell us the name of your book, and then maybe a little bit about what inspired you to write it. A million questions. So Leon, please stop me if I'm like monopolizing the question asking.
We'll just do this. We'll just do this, Miranda. There we go. If you're going too long, we'll just do that. Okay, go ahead.
There's the book.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. It is called Hidden Hospitality, Untold Stories of Black Hotel, Motel, and Resort Owners from the Pioneer Days to the Civil Rights Era. It is a coffee table book. As you can see, it's an oversized book. Beautiful photographs in here. Probably, as you can see, beautiful photographs in here. Probably up to maybe about 150 or so are in here. Here's another nice, beautiful picture I want to show you, which I love. Yeah. So what inspired me? Let me answer your question, Miranda. First, we got to turn the clock all the way back to about 1993, when I was in graduate school at Cornell School. So, a gentleman who was running an organization, or he was the founder, him and three other people founded an organization there called the National Society of Minority Hoteliers, and basically. His name was Evan Frazier, actually, who I work with now at the Advanced Leadership Institute. He asked me to do some research for a conference they were having on Black hotel ownership from a historic perspective. I was like, cool, that's pretty interesting. So I went and started the project, and I was finding not a whole lot of stuff, but enough. I was looking at stuff, and Miranda, I'm going to say this. You're pretty young, so you may not even know what this is. I was looking at stuff on microfiche, and in the library, I was spinning, looking at articles, periodicals, and stuff. You know what microfiche is?
I used it when I was in my undergrad.
Oh, okay. There you go. All right, then. Okay. All right.
This is just a lot of Botox. But I'll take the compliment.
That was good. So, what ended up happening was, I got intrigued by it, by the content, and it became my monograph, which is what you need to, have to write a full monograph so you can graduate. It's a requirement. It's not nearly as intense as a thesis, but You got to put a nice piece of work together. And at the time, it was called Hospitality Historiography. Of course, my publishers were like, nah, that title is just not going to work. we got to change that. So what they do is they give you once you're done with your monograph, they give it to you in a nice black binder, beautiful binder with gold lettering on it. And now, fast forward all the way to about 2020. I was cleaning out some stuff. If you remember, that was around the pandemic going on and stuff. And I found it. And I was like, oh my God, here's my monograph. So I'm flipping through the thing, and a friend of mine happened to be here, and she was like, what is that? I was like, it's my monograph. I wrote, she's like, what it's about? I was like, it's about hotel ownership, Black hotel ownership. Starts in the late 1700s. It goes all the way through the segregation there. She was like, what? We owned hotels back then? And I was like, yeah, we did. And so she's like, let me see that thing. And she flips through, and I could see her eyes was just like, oh my God, this is great. And she looks up at me and says, is this a book? And I was like, it will now be. It will now. It will be. So I called a couple of people to just get their insight and what they thought about putting something like this together. Even Evan, he was like, if you can pull something like that together, brother, that would be fantastic. And so my publisher was so excited, which is Brown Books Publishing in Dallas. They did some initial research on the subject and found out there was no other book out there on the shelves like it. So it is a true groundbreaking book. Now, I know some people have written about the Green Book, but this book covers the Green Book, stuff before the Green Book and after. So, the Green Book ran from like 1936 to 66 or 7 or so. But this is a full chronological walk of Black history through a hospitality lens, if I could describe it in summary. That's
amazing. This is amazing. And I'm so excited to add it to my bookshelf because and this is not a DEI podcast or a political statement or anything like that. So nobody freak out. But in our bookshelf, in our family room, where my children spend most of their time, I like to have books such as this because they get curious. They're only 7 and 9, but they do get curious, and they'll go pick up these books and they'll say, Mom, what is this about? What does this title mean? And it's a great way to start conversations that lead to learning opportunities.
That is fantastic, Miranda. And you know what? I love that you shared that. And because part of my reason for writing this book is, of course, to talk about the history, to tell a story about Black history that most people don't even know about, first of all. But it was, because I truly believe that Black history is American history. And so telling these stories is going to open a lot of people's eyes. And one of the audiences that I wanted to open are younger people that are inspired by stories and entrepreneurship and Black excellence and all of that. And my hope is that when they read this, if they walk away saying, you know what, if they can do that and build some beautiful properties during the most challenging times in America, I should be able to do it too. Mm-hmm. If they get that, if you get this out of that book, I'm happy. That's really a thrill for me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that is great. And Calvin, I want to again reiterate what I did on another show that our company produces. You came on Wake Up Baltimore last week, Monday morning at 7:30, and I told you that you were the first Black presenter that I sat under at a Hilton convention, the Hilton conference, whatever we were calling it, when you were with Homewood Suites. Yeah. And so I will never forget that I looked up and I said, wow, there's someone like me that's on the stage. This is great. Wow. This is great. And I was sitting with another Black manager, and we're like, there he is. Look at this. Look at it,
Brother, man, that warmed my heart when you told me that, Leon. Yeah. That truly did. I that's why, you know what? That's why you never know who you're impacting. That's why I always tell people, man, be kind to people. Yeah. You just never know. Be kind and be inspiring, help others, because you just never know who you're going to impact, Yeah. So telling me that was a great story, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and then to find out about your book that you kind of teased with us when you were on checking in before, told us it was coming, and now it's here, and then to hear some about it and to know that there were actually Black hotel owners way back, right?
Back.
And that was so interesting to find out about. But also in your book, you talk about ownership today too, right? You just
Mhm.
didn't stop. Tell us some about that.
Yeah, the last chapter of this book, what I wanted to really try to do is tie the past to the future. And the last chapter of this book is called it's in chapter 8, Beginning of a New Era, which is here. All right. You may recognize the property that's next to it. That is Sheila Johnson, who is the CEO of Salamander Collection. That's one of her hotels, and I think that's the one in Middleburg, Virginia. Of course, she's a huge inspiration and for all of us in the hospitality industry. But I also cover a lot of others like R. Donahue Don Peebles. I'm sure some of you know, who's the CEO of Peeble Corporation. I have photos of him. Kristen Kitchen, who's a founder and CEO of Sojourn Heritage Accommodation. She has a hotel in Miami called Dunn's Josephine. I cover, of course, Sheila's in here. I talk a little bit about Pharrell. He doesn't own a hotel in Miami. I believe it's called Good Time, but he did play a big role in its decor and decorations and so forth. I don't know if you know that, I can't remember the gentleman's name. If it'll probably come back to me. That owns a hotel called the International House in New Orleans. Harper, what's his name? What's his first name? The actor. It'll come back. Hill Harper. He owns a hotel in New Orleans as well. And then I also cover people like Deidre Mathis in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So there's several Black hoteliers that I put in here that are out there today. And I did that to show people that we're still out here, but not nearly at the impact we need to be. We're still only 2% of all the hotels out there today. So we still have some growth to go. But the great thing is that we're making an impact. People like Davon Reeves, Tracy Prigmore, and people like that who are out there really trying to grow our impact in the hospitality industry from an ownership standpoint, which is great.
Right on. And one more before we go back to Miranda. You mentioned to me on the other show that there was a professional boxer who owned a hotel in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Right. The connection to sports. So, Magic Johnson and folks like that want the first folks to have property, right? This boxer, tell us some about that.
Oh, wow. I'd have to go back in here and find him. But Joe Gans, let me see. Yeah. Joe Gans was the what they call the master. Let me see. I would love to tell you about that hotel. Let me see. Give me a moment. The Goldfield Hotel.
Goldfield, right.
Goldfield in chapter 3. Let me see if I can find him. This book is about, just so you know, about 300 pages.
Wow. Nice.
So yeah, nice. It has a lot in here.
I love that it has the photographs, though. I can't imagine how difficult it was to find some of the photographs.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was part of the challenge in some cases. People are probably going to flip through this book and be like, why he didn't include this hotel? Why is this the hotel? You know what? First of all, I can't put every hotel in here. It would have been that thick. But what I did try to do is, first of all, look for the story, because you want to write about things that are really going to engage people and have them read and turn in the page. But I also wrote about those that made a huge impact. They might have been the first in a city, or they made a significant contribution to the civil rights era, or so yeah, you may not see every property in here. But this one, this is the one in Baltimore, which was really cool. It's called the Goldfield Hotel. This is the boxer. His name is Joe Gans. cool looking dude, right?
Right. Right.
um, and I think I read a little bit about this guy because it was so interesting.
Yeah.
Um, in 1902, he captured his place in history when he became the first African American boxing champion with an astonishing one-round knockout of the defending champion Frank Ernie. However, his most famous fight was still 4 years away. In 1906, on Labor Day in Goldfield, Nevada, the champion took on his most famous bout, which became known as the fight of the century. They called him the Old Master. He faced a guy named Oscar Battling Nelson, a fighter 8 years older than Gans, who had already racked up a number of significant wins. The match drew the largest gate in history with a purse of 30,000 and a crowd of over 8,000 people. That's crazy. Now, here's the part that is amazing. The boxers battled a grueling 42 rounds.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? Now, I don't know if all of them were still 3 minutes, but Gans occasionally helped Nelson up during the fight and allowed him time to recover. Even after breaking his hand in the 33rd round, Gans continued to fight. While Gans was victorious, he received only 11,000, while his defeated opponent claimed 20. However, Gans increased his winnings by betting on his victory in practice that was legal in Nevada at the time. So what he ended up doing is taking his money and he built the Goldfield Hotel in Baltimore in 1907. So here's his hotel, and here's him sitting in a nice ride.
Interesting.
Amazing.
Here's the hotel.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Now, my uncle, who is 102, I asked him if he was aware of the hotel, and he told me that hotel became apartments, and they tore it down in the 60s to build a post office.
Yeah.
Yep, we talked about it last week, so you
that's cool. But he remembered the hotel?
Yep, he said he didn't remember. He heard it was a hotel. It was apartments. It became apartments later on, is what he told me, and that the building was demolished to make room for a post office. So
yeah, that's
there
awesome.
We have it. Yeah, Miranda, back to you.
Yeah, but just to follow up on that, Leon, that happened to most of the hotels that are in that book. In the book, is that when the Civil Rights Act of 1964 came into play. That was signed by President Lyndon Johnson. It allowed blacks to go to all hotels they wanted to. So what ended up happening was a lot of the properties that most of them in here are gone because they relied on black patronage to survive. So once they left, they couldn't survive. A lot of them, became old, couldn't get a loan to refurbish. So eventually they were either torn down or repurposed, like you just mentioned, the Goldfield Hotel, into senior housing, apartment buildings, office buildings, and things of that nature. So, yeah, I always get that question too, Calvin. Do you think the Civil Rights Act was good for Black enterprise? And progress is progress. You got to keep moving forward. But I just wish we would have stopped for a moment to say, hey, we need to make sure we preserve these other properties over here and make sure they survive. Just from a generational wealth standpoint, could you imagine if we'd have kept at least a third of those? It would have been a whole different ball game out here, you know?
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
Yeah. But that wasn't the only reason. The Civil Rights Act played a major role, but also progress. You had a lot of situations. People weren't building highways through like those neighborhoods because, everybody knows about Black Wall Street, but there was a Black Broadway in Washington, D.C. There was a Fillmore district in San Francisco. There were Black Bottom in Detroit. There were other areas where they had a lot of Black enterprise like that, and there were no. So yeah. You'll read about all that stuff in there.
Yeah, right on.
Right on, man.
And you mentioned that you also cover aspects of the Green Book in your book. What other ways did you see how these Black-owned properties changed the travel experience here in the United States? Like, some of them, I believe, seem obvious, but I'd love to hear from your perspective, having kind of lived through the research. Like, what did this mean for the travel experience at that time?
It was huge. It was huge. Because first of all, the Green Book played a major role in making sure keeping us safe as we traveled across the country. You couldn't stay in certain hotels. There were sundown towns. If blacks were caught in certain areas after dark, I mean, they could be hurt. In some cases, violence. In some cases, probably killed. So the Green Book was essential to making sure you had a list of hotels. A lot of people opened up their homes for people to stay in. We were the first the first B&Bs, Airbnbs, because people were coming to stay because they didn't have anywhere else to go.
Right.
And so, the salons, restaurants, all of that stuff was in those books to keep us safe. And so for the Black traveler, when it opened up, when we started building hotels, it gave us a nice place to stay, respectfully. Because a lot of those in the earlier years, some of those hotels, I mean, they weren't nearly as first class as the ones that are in this book. But it opened up a lot of opportunity for us to have a great experience. Some of these hotels in here, like Edwin Barry's hotel in Athens, Ohio, was a first class hotel. I mean, it had stuff in there that other hotels didn't have. I think he was reputed to start putting coat hangers in closets and getting Bibles in the rooms. Some of these had electricity for the first time. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that created just a safe space. And what you'll read about in a lot of these places is that hotel became like a cultural hub for that neighborhood or area. So people went there to eat, dine, meet, party, or whatever it was. It just became a cultural hub for that area. So it's just a dynamic experience for Black travelers. So some people don't know this, and I like to let people know there were three types of hotels. There are three types of hotels in here. Now, the first type, Black owned, only Black stayed. That is probably 95%, maybe 96% of the hotels in this book.
Like as a choice, a consumer choice, or as a restriction by the owners?
I wouldn't say restriction, because Black owners that built them wanted Black patrons. They wanted to create hotels and spaces for their people, for their race to stay in. So you got that group. Then you also have white owned, only Blacks could stay there. So only a few of those.
That's very unexpected.
Very unexpected.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
So like the Hampton House in Miami, white owned, only Black stayed there. Okay. It was called the Booker Terrace Hotel at first, but that hotel was a hub for Black celebrities. Martin Luther King stayed there all the time. Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X. You may have even seen a photo of when Malcolm X is behind a counter and Muhammad Ali, you see him saying, right? He's like, and there's some people around him at that lunch counter. That's actually at the Hampton House. And so I think it was right after he won his fight with Sonny Liston. And there was a movie called Night in Miami that came out, it was a while back, but that was supposedly at the Hampton House where that was the setting supposed to take place. That hotel is still there. It's a cultural center and museum, but that was white owned, only Blacks. So if you know all of the entertainers like Sammy Davis Jr. and all those people, they could perform in clubs in downtown Miami, but they had to leave and come back to the Hampton House and stay. Okay. So that's the second type.
Okay.
Then you have Black owned, 99% white patronage, or nearly. Okay. I'm going to use Edwin Barry in this case as well. Edwin Barry had a beautiful, gorgeous hotel in Athens, but most of his clientele were white. And he was such a great hotelier. People came there for the experience that he delivered. So it's not a lot of those in here, but he was probably one of the first where people knew that he was a Black owner and they had white customers mostly. So yeah, so that's something eye opener for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And when you think about this time, this is like late 1800s, early 1900s, when you have situations like that. So very different. And what I found in this book, Leon and Miranda, which is Black people really didn't reject you because of your race. You could still stay. It was always the other way around. White owned, they didn't want Blacks in there. So Black people were cool. If you white, you come on in. It's okay, you know. But it just wasn't the same on the vice versa, you know. Yeah.
Wow, this is great information. Thank you for educating us.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Yes, dropping the education. Folks, you just heard that and you didn't take good notes, just like press the scroll button and go back and get it again so you get all the info. That's good stuff there.
Yeah.
You could teach a whole college course using this book with the information that you gather. Amazing. Was it difficult to piece together these stories? Was it difficult to get the information? For example, were you able to reach out to descendants of families mentioned in the book? Like, how did you get the information? Because oftentimes historical information is just lost to history, right?
Yeah, it was, I think part of it, Miranda, I was fortunate that I started in 93 because a lot of the articles that I had, I can't even find anymore, you know, that and so luckily I had a bibliography from all of that stuff. So I can search back if I need to, or anybody, a historian can go in here. There's probably like 10 pages of references, probably 10 to 15 pages of just lists of sources. And you can go back and find that stuff if you can find it. But it was very challenging. When I first wrote the monograph and reached out to Brown Books, they were like, it was probably like 10,000 words or so, maybe. And she was like, we love this subject matter. We want to do this book, but I need more content. Can you find more stories? I need you to get to at least 18 to 20,000 words. And she was like, you think you can get there? I was like, hey, I'll go and look and see what I find. So a lot of stuff is digitized now, which is good. And so I was able to find a lot more than I thought that was out there because I knew what to search for. That's the thing. And so once I was done with the original manuscript, I went back. I had like probably 90,000 words, which was a blessing and a curse at the same time because my developmental editor was like, there's no way we're going to make a book out. That's just too much. So that difficult decision had to come at some point where, Calvin, you got to pick your favorite child, favorite children, because some of them got to go. And so that was difficult. That was difficult. And so when I share that part with people, the natural next question is, oh, that means you got enough for the next book. And I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing right now. No. that I would love to do that, but right now let me just enjoy the fruits of this labor at this point.
Yeah. Take a breather. Sit back and bask in the growth of the seeds that you've planted.
Absolutely. And there's so much in here, enough to absorb. The other hotels, I'm going to post some of them I have a website, calvinstovall.com, where I will post some of the other stories that I couldn't put in the book. But yeah, I can't see myself writing another book right now, but who knows what'll happen in the future. Yeah. But yeah, sourcing and finding information, it was pretty challenging. I mean, in some cases you will have one hotel and then there might be 10 different articles. But the challenge, the dates may not match. Somebody may say this and that, and it doesn't make sense. So the whole editing process and understanding, looking at the resources, because I would go with the most common date and trying to make sure that I want to be as accurate as possible, because I don't want to misrepresent anybody in here.
Yeah.
I did get a chance to talk to some descendants to answer your question. I actually talked to Madam C.J. Walker's great-great-granddaughter. I think it was great-great.
What? Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
Alelia Bundles. She gave me a picture, I believe, that was the husband of somebody in Madam C.J. Walker's. I think it was her sister's husband or something. I'm not sure exactly what the relation was, but I spoke to her. She actually has a book out right now as well. But yeah, she was very, very kind. And, in some cases, a lot of these pictures you get like from museums, archive associations and things of that nature, they'll charge you a scanning fee and then a usage fee. But in some cases, like in the Alelia Bundles case, all I had to do was sign a document saying that I would, make sure that it's documented well with the right, source and everything. She didn't charge me. So I had several librarians do that. They're like, "Oh, you writing a book like that, man? Here, take it all." And they didn't charge me anything.
Yeah. Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Because when you think about it, like some of the people in here, like you'll have some photos that'll say they don't know the source of the copyright. They don't know who took the picture, none of that kind of stuff like that. And so you're like, wow, what do? I use it? And the picture is like 1850. 19. Is somebody really going to, you just don't know. Would somebody come back and say, hey, that was mine? But, you just never know. But in some cases, I just had to make a decision whether I used it or not,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Calvin, you mentioned you also do some work with called the Advanced Leadership Institute. Is that correct? In Pittsburgh. Tell us some about your work there.
It's called the Advanced Leadership Institute. It's led by the CEO, Evan Frazier, who I've known now for like 30 years or so because of our time together at Cornell. He was an undergrad then. And he started this organization that I think in like 2019 or so. But basically, in a nutshell, we prepare African Americans and their allies for C-suite positions in corporations. So just trying to train and prepare and evolve them to executives. And so we have a program in partnership with Carnegie Mellon University, Tipper School of Business, who helps us create the curriculum. They provide probably 60% or so of the faculty. And the other 40 or so percent are ones we bring in that talk specifically around the African-American experience in corporate America and so forth, and how to navigate all of that stuff. But it is our next cohort actually is going to kick in. We have an Emerging Leaders program and a National Executive Leadership Academy. The Emerging Leaders one is for up-and-coming managers, and that one kicks off in January 2026, and the National Executive Leadership Academy kicks off in February. So the national one goes from February to June. You graduate from the program in June, and the curriculum is awesome, very, very powerful, and the Emerging Leaders program as well. Yeah. So as executive director, I'm responsible for the national program. So I fly into Pittsburgh when the program is in play, because we do 1 week live in February in Pittsburgh. So I'll fly down there for that. Then the next month it's online. Then we're going to do a 2-day conference, like a 2-day event in Charlotte. We did it in Dallas last year. And then it's online again. And then that last month in June, we're back in Pittsburgh for a week. And then they graduate during that week out of the program. So nice. It's pretty cool. It's an awesome program. I've been with them full time since 2024. Yeah, 2024. Mm-hmm. But I've been working with them. I started in about mid 2023, doing some contract work with them. Yeah.
Nice. Right on. Now, when you go to Pittsburgh, you don't wear your Chicago Bears jersey, do you?
Why you want to start, man? Why?
I'm just asking. I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I do. I wear my Bears cap. I got a Bears jacket. And next Sunday at 1 p.m. we'll be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You will Sunday.
And you will lose.
Whoa! It's not a me. It's not a me. I am a Baltimore Ravens.
You're a Ravens fan. Okay.
You are referencing one of our producers at the Leon Thomas Group, Jay Rusinko.
Okay.
He is the lone Steeler fan in the organization.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Well, tell him for me.
I will spread the word. In fact, I think he came in the studio here for a second to make sure that I knew how to do some things still. But he may still be listening, so he can hear that. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Miranda, who's your football team?
Oh, the New Orleans Saints. But I live with a New England Patriots fan. So
oh wow! Okay, he's going through a little pain right now.
If you come in our home, you'll be greeted with a whole garage of Patriots.
That's cool.
I don't know,
nice.
Things.
It's
not representative.
Patriot stuff.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Let's Miranda, you have another question, or you want to go to the signature questions of the show? It's your call.
Questions.
All right, signature questions of the show.
Questions. All right.
Now, Calvin, the first thing, there are 3 signature questions. We just don't want to change the video.
Oh, okay.
Hey, there are 3. Now, when you were with us before, did we have signature questions at that time?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
You know, we're going to roll with them.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Question number 1. Have you ever had a Maryland crab cake?
Maryland crab cake. I probably have.
Uh-oh. Where were you for this Maryland crab cake?
Bethesda.
Okay. Technically, that's a Maryland crab cake if you were in Bethesda, yes.
I think I did have a crab cake there. I was there for an event in Bethesda.
Okay.
And I think I'm pretty confident I've had one.
Okay.
I travel a lot. Okay. That's yeah. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. Now, if you're in Kansas City and it says Maryland crab cake, that's not a Maryland crab cake.
No, it's not.
Okay.
So tell me what's the difference between what's a Maryland crab cake? What's the difference between a crab cake in Maryland versus a crab cake in Kansas?
Oh, it's just where it's made.
Okay.
Just where it's made.
Does it taste better or the ingredients better?
It's all about the preparation. It's all about the chef. Is all it is.
Do you make crab cakes? Are you good?
Oh yeah. I throw down with the crab cakes.
All right. Okay, brother, man. I'm gonna have to. You're gonna have to make me a couple of crab cakes when I see you.
Well, we're trying to get the book tour to Baltimore. We're working on that.
Yes,
now, the thing is, a lot of folks think that when you say Maryland crab cake, it's because the crabs are from the Chesapeake Bay and all that.
That's what I thought.
Our crabs are from Louisiana and North Carolina. Every crab place here will tell you that. They tell you. Crabs are from North Carolina and Louisiana.
I had no idea. I sure thought they were from Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah. If you go to the southern Maryland, they get their crabs from Maryland waters. But here in Baltimore, nope, we don't. And Miranda, I'm remembering a couple years ago, you sent me a picture. You were at an event somewhere, and they had Maryland crab balls or something. And you sent me a picture going, is this real? Like, no, there's no crab balls. It's crab cake.
I think I was in
I bet it was good. I bet they were good.
I mean, I like crab, so
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean, if
you
it
can get a
tastes good,
ball or a cake,
great.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It could be crab pancake. That's probably
right.
works too.
Yeah.
Now, here's our second question. Have you ever had bean pie?
No.
Have you ever heard the words bean pie put together?
I think I have bean pie. Where would I have heard that in Chicago? I feel like I heard
Yeah, oh, yes, definitely in Chicago.
Muslims. Did they say
Yes, come
Muslim?
on,
Yes,
come on, come
yes.
on.
Said
Yes,
bean pies. Yes, I think I
yes,
have tasted one. Yes, I have.
yes, yes.
I was
Thank
like, I can remember them on the side of the street. Yeah, the bean pies. They had the Defender.
the newspaper, the final
newspaper,
call, and the yes. There you
absolutely.
go. You're from Chicago.
Muslim brothers. Yeah,
Of course. Thank you,
yep.
Miranda. She doesn't think bean pie exists.
They do exist. They truly do.
All right.
You can't
Calvin,
won't fight this fight today.
Yeah.
we've even written a song about bean pie.
What advice does your 20-year-old self need to know? That's the signature question that ends the show. Crab cakes come up before we say goodbye, and we also ask, have you ever had bean pie? Bean pie rocks, bean pie rules. So good, you'll take it to school. Bean pie, tasty and sweet. Bean pie can't be beat.
Folks, if you want to hear the rest of it, send me an email. I will send you a link.
Whoever was singing that song was pretty good.
They were putting the hurting on it, huh?
Man, that was all right, man. It was funny.
Written in conjunction with the Leon Thomas Group interns and AI.
That was and AI.
Yeah, and AI. It's a blend. Yes, I'll send it to you.
That was good. That was
Right
good.
on, Miranda.
Right. I'll close us out with our final signature question, which is, if you could go back in time and give your 20-year-old self one piece of advice, pearl of wisdom, or affirmation, what would it be?
There's a lot. I would say how do I want to say this? Basically, if I could go back and tell myself 20, Calvin, things are going to take longer than you think they will. And that's probably a lesson. I'm a very focused and driven person, and I create sometimes too high expectations for myself, and I underestimate how long things are going to take. But they always take longer. This book has humbled me to a whole nother level, because I thought, first of all, it was going to be easy to raise money because I went with a hybrid publisher because of the content. And secondly, because of my passion and drive and fire for the subject matter, I thought I would get it done sooner. But what I realized is that things happen when they're supposed to happen. And God's grace, he gave me the strength to keep pushing through to finish it. But, it was a long process, and it wasn't nearly as easy as I thought it might be. Yeah. Okay. So if you're going to write a book out there, give yourself grace, because there will be days when you wake up and you will not want to write at all. But the next day you might be fired up. The next thing you know, you're writing to 2 and 3 in the morning. But stick with it. Finish it, because people want to hear your story.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Finish it. I like it. Finish
it.
Finish it. Right on. Finish it. We're here with Calvin Stovall, the author of Hidden Hospitality, Untold Stories of Black Hotel, Motel, and Resort Owners from the Pioneer Days to the Civil Rights Era. Folks, you can get a copy of this book. You want to buy the book, please buy the book. Calvin, they can buy it just about anywhere, but where's the best place to buy this book? Where's the best place
The
to
best place to buy the book is to go to calvinstovall.com. There is and when you go in there to say buy, there's a direct. If you click direct, it's going to take you to a PayPal page. That gets me more of the profits of the book. But also, if it's more convenient for you, do Amazon, Barnes and Noble, whatever you like. I just appreciate your support, whatever channel you decide to go to.
But y'all go to calvinstovall.com.
Yeah, that's better.
Go to calvinstovall.com. And when it comes to buying your hotel rooms, go to the hotel's website. Don't go to Expedia or wherever else out there. Don't do that. Whoever's going to call me and beat me up for it. Only sales. I don't have a sales director, Leon. We need them to sell rooms for us. Then you need to get a sales manager then, or a director of sales if you're relying on those third party sites. Okay, I'm done.
All right. He's off the soapbox.
Right on. Go to calvinstovall.com. Calvin, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, thank you so much for inviting me, Leon and Miranda. I just think it's a great, giving me this great opportunity to share my project, my passion project.
Yes.
I'm grateful for your time today and for your listeners. Thank you for checking in.
Checking in, right. Thank you for checking. That's Miranda. That's our new
closing line.
That's our new closing line.
I love it.
Thank you for checking in.
I love it.
Yes. Yes.
11 is it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? But
Right.
Wow. Right on. Right on. Thank you again, Calvin.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Great book, huh, Miranda?
yes, I'm so excited. I think this is going to be so cool. And I am very serious when I say that I keep intentional books in our family room to have conversations with my kiddos. And the pictures in this book are going to be what brings it to the next level.
Mhm.
So I'm just so excited. And I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. I love your idea, the intentional books.
Yeah.
That's something I'm going to talk to folks at my church about. I'm going to talk to kids and families in the racquetball program, their parents. Intentional books in the family room around the house.
Yeah.
Yes, that is.
And none
That's
of
a
the
great
books are off
idea.
limits. You can pull out and flip through and touch any of mommy's books. These are our
Yeah.
books.
Great
So,
idea. Love it. Intentional books. Love it. Thank you, Miranda. It's great. Another good show. Great spending time with you here, checking in. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
everyone, thank you for watching and thank you for
For
checking in.
checking in.
Take care, everybody.